Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Colton Collins. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Thank you for having me.
All right. So just kind of remind and tell everybody what you do.
I am a driver this year. I've been driving with CW Motorsports in the ARCA E series. Been fortunate enough to be working with the team for the past few months and getting a couple of shots behind the wheel.
Okay, so let me ask you this, since it's your first time coming on here, how did you get your start in racing and stuff?
So I started actually. I had a friend at school that told us about a upcoming event here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was called a 10 for 10 at the local quarter midget track. And we went out there and paid $10. You got 10 laps in a race car. And yeah, we ended up buying a race car the same day. And I was 6 and we haven't stopped since.
Yeah. Okay, so what was it like starting out in racing? What was it just like for you to get behind the wheel? It's like, what was that like for you?
I loved it since day one. It's everything I've ever wanted to do. And I've been pursuing it for this long. It's kind of consumed me. Everything it's just yeah, everything I do is racing focused at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's also the way that you make an income and make money and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I know you do a lot of other things as well. Locally, what's that? It's kind of, I know you've kind of turned it into a job for you.
Yeah, I've been trying my best at making a living at driving and working on race cars. I work on micro sprints here in Oklahoma, sprint cars, midgets, and here in the surrounding states. And then actually this weekend I'll be working at the track I started at on a quarter midget for Friday through Sunday. So I'm really excited to help develop a kid, and that's kind of where my heart is developing young race car drivers to achieve their goals.
Yeah. And of course, you're trying to, get your own career going as well. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 19.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure I know you've gotten a lot of opportunities in your time, and you've gotten to start a lot of races. What was like the best moment of your racing career, you think?
You know, there's so many. There, I've worked really hard and been really blessed with the opportunities I've been given by a couple car owners at this level, Caleb Costner and Eric Coddell. Um, I'll say one of my favorite memories would be getting a call on the Wednesday before my ARCA debut, and you know getting the call to come drive the car in Elko, Minnesota, and ended up making my debut to a 13th place finish or something. That was pretty surreal to even make it to this level. And now we're starting to keep get the starts going and starting to get more recognized at this level. And hopefully we can just keep it rolling.
Yeah. What's been your favorite track to run on so far, you think?
Hmm. I think Five Flags earlier this year. It's the home of the Snowball Derby, and there's a good reason for it. It is the track is worn out, but it's not too worn out, and it is fast. It is really fast. You have to dive it down in the one really hard and get inches away from that inside wall to get that right exit off the corner. And I had so much fun there earlier this year, and I really looking forward to getting back there.
Yeah. Okay. So when will we next see you in one of these things?
Um, we'll see. I'm working every day at it. It's really dependent on sponsors. I can't. I work so hard, but I still can't write these big checks. So we'll see. Hopefully soon. I'd like to get back in the car, next week if it was possible, but at the moment is not. So we'll keep working and keep on striving to make the next start and continue this career in stock car racing.
Yeah. Okay. So what was like the biggest thing you really had to like, I know there's been a lot of jumps and stuff that you've had to do, but what's been the biggest thing that you've had to that you've learned when since you've kind of turned into this since you've kind of started racing in like the ARCA stuff?
Yeah, it's so most of the cars you drive going up to this are not as heavy, and they don't have near the amount of horsepower, and they also have way wider tires. So it's just, and also they're mostly straight rail cars too. So it's everything's kind of different. Um, the biggest thing is the weight and the horsepower. I think is learning how to use the weight and the horsepower to help you instead of hurt you is the big thing. And these longer races, the tire fall off and learning how to manage the tires.
Okay. So what is something that you've always wanted to race that you haven't had a chance to yet?
I've always wanted to run in the Cup Series. That's always been my dream since day one is racing the Cup Series. But anything at if I can make a living driving race cars, that's good enough for me. I'd love to race in the Truck Series and Xfinity. NASCAR has always been my goal. Um, but it's I'd love to race TA2 cars, and basically, if it has wheels and a motor, I'd love to give a try at it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to know you a little bit. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. What is okay, most memorable race that you've been a part of?
Um, I, I'll say probably the ARCA race in 22 at IRP when I think Chastain Rose and um
Yeah.
Tony Breidinger got into it. That was right in front of me, and there was big fireballs, and it was my second race in ARCA cars. It was kind of scary, and then there's fire everywhere, and it was it was definitely pretty wild. That whole day, and the biggest track I've ever been on too. It just it was pretty memorable.
Yeah. Okay, what is something let's see. Track that you've wanted to go race at.
Daytona.
Okay.
That's hands down is Daytona.
Uh
Whenever
go ahead.
whenever I was six, we were actually on the Riverwalk here and down here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I wrote on it. It said it was a chalkboard, and it said, "Before I die, I want to." And I wrote "Race to Daytona 500." So ever since then, been striving to make a start on Sunday down there in Daytona.
Yeah. Um what is excuse me. Let's see. Uh um what's your all-time favorite movie?
Days of Thunder, hands down.
Okay. Um and finally, what is something people don't know about you?
Um, I guess that how much I actually work on race cars. I don't just drive race cars full time, which some people might pick up on, but uh, you know I I really have to work really hard at making these starts, and I'm not just a race car driver. I've been a spotter, I've been a crew chief, I've been a front tire changer, I've been the interior guy. I've done a lot. I do everything I can to try to make myself as valuable as possible so I can get more opportunities behind the wheel of these race cars.
All right. Well, Colton, thanks for the time as always, and we'll look forward to having you on again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.